Why to use the standard charts in Excel if you can easily customize them and make them look better and more beautiful? That way you can use those charts into a presentation, into a report, into a dashboard. So step by step from scratch, let's see how to easily customize a chart in Excel and make them look better. Let's go. Before we get started, I think it's very important in Excel to have a data set, because from the data set we can create any type of chart. Here I have a very simple sample where as the first column I have the categories and in the second column I have the numbers. Now I can select both of those columns and then go to insert and then create the chart. Let's say I want to start with the column chart. That is one of the most common charts in Excel. It's a very useful chart because with this chart we can fit a lot of different data. I can see that each one of those columns are being represented by a category: January, February, March, and on and on. So this is how we separate the columns, and the height of each one of those columns are being represented by the value that we have to the left. But as you can see, this chart that I just create here is the same as I did before, the standard chart in Excel. But how can I transform this chart right here into a customized one? It's very easy to do it. The first things that I like to start with, let's say I have this grid line or the background lines. I can select those lines and then delete. I don't think it's important to use, but you can argue with me and say, I think it's important because that way the lines help me to see the matching between the numbers and the height of the columns. Okay, but instead of using the numbers to the left of the chart, we can move those values above the columns. So let's click in the left where I have the numbers and then read it off this information. Now I can go to the chart design and add chart element. Within data labels, I have the option outside and. With this option now, instead of using the values to the left, I can have all those values above the correspondent column. And as the chart is selected, I can go to Format and then Shape Effects. I can select Shadow and the first option. Because instead of having a flat surface, let's say, like this one that I have, now I have a shadow in the corners, and this creates a sensation of a highlight in the chart, as we can see. Now let's right click within the columns and then I can go to Format Data Series, and instead of using these standard columns with a sharper corner, I can change and use a rounder one. I think it's gonna make the chart looks even more modern. To the right, I can go first to Effects and select Shadow and stick with the first option. Now we already create a different effects into the columns in the background. Now let's go to the Fill Align and let's start with the border. I can increase the size, the width of the border. Now it's blank, but let's say I want to use 4. The one that I selected here is already with the yellow color, but let's say your Excel start with the black one or the blue one, it doesn't matter. If you take a look here and click outside the chart, now we already have some kind of rounded corners. But if I increase a little bit more, let me select again the columns. I increase a little bit more width. Maybe I can use 10. Let's see what's going to happen with 10. Okay. Yeah, now it's much rounder, let's say. And instead of using a black color or a blue one, I can go to More Colors and select a customized one. I can actually customize the color with all the settings, such as red, green, blue, and etc. Or I can go to Standard to have access to more scales of colors. I want to stick with this blue right here. Okay, so this is the chart that we can create easily in Excel. Just make some simple adjustments, and that way it's much better than the chart, than the standard one that Excel gives to me. Let me close this right panel, and as you can see, it's much better. Now let's go to the second chart that we're going to do in this video, that is the area chart. And as you can see, the standard one is very simple. It's just an area with some color underneath it. But if I compare to the chart that I did before, I have a gradient color within the area, and I also have this yellowish line at the top of the chart, and also the numbers above each one of the categories. So let's do the same thing here. I want to select again the data that I have, and then I can go to Insert and then select the chart area. Okay, like this. Let me click in the chart and move to the left a little bit. The first thing that I want to start with, just to change the steps a bit, I want to go to Format and then Shape Effects, Shadow, and the first option. Okay, that way we can highlight the area of the chart with the shadows. Now let's add the line over the area chart. And to do it, I need to select again this data, but I actually need to select only the second column where I have the values, and then I can press Ctrl C to copy, and then I can click in the chart, Ctrl V to paste. I basically create another area chart, this time with an orange color, but we're gonna change it. We're gonna use this current orange chart as a line and the blue one as the area. To do it, let me right click within the chart, and then I can go to change chart type. Within the combo option, I can use one option as area and another one as line. The first one I want to use as area and the second one as line. That's it. So look at this sample right here. This is perfect. This is what I need. Let me click OK. And the final steps that we can do with this chart is right click within the line and then format data series. To the right, we can stick with effects first and use a shadow. Maybe this time I can decrease the transparency. I can reduce this number maybe to 0 to make it darker. And I can also go to fill align. As the line, I want to use a solid line with orange or yellowish color. And as the width, maybe I can use something bigger than this number right here, larger than this number, 4 maybe. And this is the final touch that is going to help us. Instead of having a line with sharper corners, we can smooth those corners. So this is what I'm going to do. Click here, smoothed line. And as you can see, now it's much better. Now click in the area of the chart. And to the right, we can start with fill and then gradient fill. Within this option, gradient fill, we have many different options to choose. The gradient fill creates a gradient where I have a lighter color and a darker one, or 2 different colors, 3, 4, 5. I can use as many colors as I like to use. But here, I want to, let's say, I want to select one gradient stop and remove it. I want to stick with only 2 gradients. The one in the middle, I want to put it to the left, and the one to the right, I want to make sure it's 100% to the right. So like this, one in the end left, one in the end right. The one in the left, I want to use dark blue colors. Maybe I can use this blue right here. And the one to the right, I again want to use the same blue, but this time in the transparency, I want to use 50%. Okay, 50. Now we have a different style of colors within the area of the chart. And make sure the lighter part of the color is at the bottom and the dark one is at the top. How can you make sure it's right? You can go to, let's say, instead of using type as the radial, you can use linear, and as direction, you can use the darker part at the top. Now I can close this panel and I can make the last change. And let me select the grid lines, read it off these grid lines, select the values to the left and also read it off these values. Let me select the line, and then I can go to chart design to the left, add chart element, and data label above. Okay, now we have again the values, the correspondence to each one of the categories. The only thing that is missing here is maybe the header, the title of the chart. So I can select the area of the chart and go to chart design, add chart element, chart title, and above chart. Okay, this one is gonna have the name, values, just a simple name. And that's it. So this is how we can create customized charts in Excel that look much better than the standard versions that Excel gives to us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, or you want to see more videos like this one, how to make modern looking charts in Excel, let me know, comment down below, and I see you tomorrow. As every day has a new video, I see you there.